Morning everyone, and welcome to week 2, day 1 of the NLC summer split, now live from Twitch, X, and YouTube. Tonight we'll be playing against Lightside, and joining me for this post stream I have the bunch of Heltic.
Hello. We have a bit of a technical issue with Lisa there, but of course, working for the 10-15 minutes of tech tests, and the moment we go live, everything dies. But we're here anyway. Hi, Sandbag. I am replacing Zath for today. Zath is away on holiday somewhere sunny with a beer in hand, but we're here holding it down. Lisa, would you want to continue your intro?
Actually want to, because I prepared such a funny joke.
Oh no.
Oh, okay, it's not that funny. Maybe in my head it is. I just said that, like, with me tonight, I have the punchable Sandbag and our very own Chaos Heltic.
Okay, fair enough. I will take it.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
Punchable!
And...
Punchable is your intro? That's what we're gonna leave this stream off with? You know what? Disconnect her again. I liked it better when she was a black screen.
Yeah.
Hey, it was heavy to carry until last week.
Zath leaves for 1 week and everything just goes out the window.
Yeah, everything just has to change for a while.
Yeah, but we're here. Another week of NLC. We're excited to be here, especially after the week we had last week. With the guys, we got a lot more confidence in them coming out of them. We knew that they were doing all right in scrims. We knew that they were confident coming into last week. Obviously, we didn't have the best week, but so far so good from them. And I think now knowing that the AMEA Masters qualification is not top 2, it's actually top 4. I have a lot higher hopes for this team.
Absolutely,
Keeping my fingers crossed.
A lot higher chance of fighting your way in, right? Where top 2 make it straight through, 3-4 go into that last chance qualifier for those of you who didn't get the update. So it's not the end of the road, but it means you're not out. You got one more shot at it, so trying to make that push.
I believe we can make it. We have a new roster for the season, so we have them as our coach, we have Theoloris as our top laner, Hybradge as our jungle, Painful as our mid, Spaces at carry, and Baul as our support. And well, faith in those guys. I feel like we saw, even though we lost both games last week, I feel like we saw a good performance from them. Would you agree with that, Heltic?
Yeah, I definitely think that we from a roster that was unproven and we were unsure of course, we kind of knew who the big players were going to be coming in. You know, Painful in Space, definitely we were going to keep an eye out for those. I think we did pretty well across the board, and we really did take it to them in that second game. Like there was a chance we could have won that, and it just didn't end up landing in our favor. But I definitely think that with a little bit more time, this roster could be very strong.
Agreed. What do you think about it, Sandbag? And would you like to run about the games we're going to have this week as well?
Yeah, I mean, echoing the sentiment, for a week 1, everyone's trying to find their footing. It's also a little bit fraudulent, 0-2 being like you're 7th or 8th, but you were in winning positions 2 games in a row against alleged top teams, right? Nord's coming in somewhat towards the favorites, at least top half into that EME conversation. And again, winning position in game 2, it's only some vision control. It's some moments that, you know, one way or another makes the difference. Clean those up, that's going to be a very different story. So towards looking forwards, playing up against a 1-1 squad, right? They were the ones who were able to take out Ruddy, dropping that second game. There is, while it is technically mid-table versus bottom table, it's week 2. There's so much more to be played. There is small cleanups on either side. There's opportunities. I guess that's the way to look at it, right? Where we highlight painful, we highlight space, trying to find your way around those components and cashing in on opportunities. That's just going to be the difference here.
We have a brand new roster also means that the guys are still not completely used to playing together. So they still have some time to adapt to each other. And I feel like once that team spirit clicks in, we have everything to just detonate. Good meeting. Can we run over the patch we're going to be playing on this week? We're playing on 14.11. How to about it?
Yeah, 14.11 is pretty nice. We're seeing some changes coming out of, you know, MSI and start of LEC. We're seeing kind of Camille being taken a lot top and a lot of talk about carry top laners. We're going to see some Camille nerfs coming in here. Jinx as well, starting to rise in popularity, getting nerfed. We did just see in that previous game that was live, the Ruddy game, that they actually were running the Karthus even after the nerfs. So we don't know whether how much of these nerfs are actually affecting these teams. They may still be using these picks as comfort. The biggest ones to look at are the, you know, GP coming in as well. Like GP and Draven are probably, and Smolar getting buffed again, are potentially quite big. Especially with the, you know, how this kind of new patches are going with the, you know, 80 carry crit, 4 items to get 100% crit being so strong. Like the 80 carries have been complaining for so long, and now they finally get what they want, and they're probably still not happy, but we're just gonna have to see how it goes. But as we can see as well there as well, Caitlyn, Hui, and Cassante all adjusted. Still very, very strong picks. Hui is an absolute damage just monster still, so I'm curious to see whether we get any of those today. We'll probably see, I'm expecting to see at least one Cassante.
I'd say so. Sandbag, would you like to weigh in?
I doubled down on the Cassante, considering the interview that was done. Hey guys, what do you feel like is the #1 top laner? And they're like, check the last game. What do we have? Cassante game 1, Cassante game 2, Cassante game 3, Ban in game 4. Right? And I don't think you're gonna change that much. It was an adjustment, not a nerf. Karthus, to talk about again, you know what he ate? A whopping 2 damage.
Of course.
It was 2 damage off of his Q. It was 2 damage and then ranked up Freon. So yes, granted, that's basically his auto attack because you're just spamming that thing, so it will stack. But when the patch notes takes the #1 S+ jungler, it takes 2 damage away from him. He's probably still okay.
Yeah, that's
I'd say he's 100% pretty fine. And before we go over the items, I just wanted to remind people that are watching us that we're also having our watching party on Discord, which is being hosted by Honeyvi, our community manager. And the link is on common Discord, so you can join her if you want to. All right, let's go over the items that changed in this patch.
Yeah, not surprising to see multiple ADC items hit here, or changed at least. Especially with, you know, giving them back. Oh yeah, here's all of the crit you've ever wanted and more. And then it's like, okay, well, that's way too much. I'm gonna take those back now. You're not allowed. You had them for 10 minutes. Well, that's enough iPad time for now. So we're just gonna have to see where they land. I still think ADC is extremely strong at the moment. We're still going to see a lot of, you know, Kallistas, Caitlyn's, all of the fun stuff. Especially, I do expect to see kind of some. I'm seeing a lot of Zeri and Smolder as well, kind of floating around. Even though Smolder has been nerfed so much now that I'm not sure if we're going to see him a whole lot. I still think we have the potential of seeing him. I do believe draft is ready to go though, so we're gonna move quickly on over into our draft for today.
I'm excited. Missing Zath, but looking forward to the new partner. Heltic back in and planned this time.
Yeah.
Not just trying to put out the fires. You actually had the prep for it, sir.
I'm actually here for the beginning of the stream, yeah. Which is a nice change. We're gonna see the Ziggs Hui bands come in. As I said, Hui is an absolute damage monster in the mid lane right now. Commonly put up into Azir. So it potentially is an Azir angle for Painful here. Just get rid of that Hui, make him have a little bit more agency in the lane. Gonna see the Skarner taken out, as long as the Poppy and the Tristana as well. Tristana pretty good in mid. Corki also pretty good in mid with the AD item changes. So not too much of a surprise there. And like I said, kind of in our little warm up beforehand, we're gonna have the Rumble come out straight away. Carry tops not going anywhere for now.
Nope, carry tops making their way on in. And Casante's not going anywhere either. Dread it, run from it. He will still be slammed. What world are we living in? Is this blind pick? Are tops just picking for themselves here? Theoloris wants, yeah, give me a Rumble. And Elijah goes, yeah, give me Casante. Pick jungle next. Like, just go down the line from there.
Yeah, we're going to see the Varus coming out as the second pick for Lightside. Not too surprising. We seen it in the last game, and it was not it. But like we were saying, like Varus is one of those champions that just has very high highs and very low lows. And playing it into like basically a tank comp when you're playing lethality makes it a little bit rough for him to play. So we're going to see how that goes for Fruity Fresh this game, but we're going to see Hybradge actually taking out the Talia, which we're seeing come up more in jungle as well. Yeah, go ahead.
I loved the Tryndamere hover. I don't know if you've been keeping up with this, because I know you said you did your little purge behind the scenes. It has been creeping up where what you do is you don't interact with any of the other champions. You hit the wave, you hit the tower, then you hit the wave, then you hit the tower, then you hit the wave, then you hit the tower. It's obnoxious and so effective, and with an AP topside, there is sometimes room elsewhere on the map for it, but I don't expect it. And the Jinx that you called out, it is always useful. Varus can build basically whatever he wants. Jinx will always be useful. This is high ceilings, but high floors at least.
Yeah, we're gonna see the Vi come out to counter that, so you can try to get on top of them with so they have a little bit of poke, and then followed up with the Cassante and the Vi to be able to try to get on top of that back line. We're gonna see what gets paired with this Jinx. That will be probably the biggest tell. The Xin Zhao got banned out by Lightside. That one's a bit questionable, because I do think this Rumble and Talia are going top jungle regardless. Like, I don't think that Talia is a mid. We're not seeing Talia mid a lot lately, so
you definitely are. You definitely are seeing it some, and it's also, if you're double AP solos, AD jungle is nice to have. So you're taking away those two, it means that a Talia jungle flex possible, but then you're forced onto AD mid. And the top side of the map, Elijah buys some Merc Treads and kind of sits there and laughs at you.
True.
Double AP top side can be quite tough in that.
Very, very true. And we're going to see the Blitz and the Nautilus banned out as well. Just trying to get rid of those hooks. Make sure that Jinx is safe behind whatever support they decide to play on. And it's going to be the Rel coming in for fast-legged right away. So they do have that engaged. Going to be potentially countered by an Alistair. Could be good for bopping them away. Helps them to secure, keep that Jinx safe that little bit more. That is some spice if we're actually going to see the Rek'Sai.
I mean, it solves some of your problems, right? You need some sort of agency. You got double AP solos, possibly. I would say double AP solos, AD jungle, Rek'Sai locked in here, unless always a wrinkle. Rumble in the jungle has been creeping up over time. Obviously far less gank potential, but the clear speed, you've got the Flame Spitter, it has been seeing some sort of priority. I expect double AP solos, Rek'Sai jungle, the support to round this one out, trying to provide some cover. Your Leonas, your Alistairs, your Tom Kenches of the world, even though he's fallen off a cliff, and it appears to be something like that. Try and keep Leo Vi away from your squishy backline. Leo's gonna have her work cut out for her.
Yeah, this is a A difficult game with the amount of engage that we've already seen coming out on Lightside, and they lock it in, they finish off with an Aurelion Sol. So yeah, they're just going full on, get onto this Jinx, make sure, and Talia, and make sure they cannot play the game. Yeah, this is going to be a interesting game for the Leona, for Baul to play. And of course, we're actually going to have Baul on after this game for our post-game interview. So it'll be interesting to see how this game goes for him, and whether he can pilot that Leona well enough into them, because this is definitely going to be a do or die game for Baul here. It's going to be a very difficult game for him to try to just stop the onslaught of people trying to get on top of him. That ultimate's going to be very important to just try to, knock that Aurelion Sol out of his flight path and stop the Rel coming in. The Magnet Storm here could go huge as well. What Lightside have drafted is actually pretty well rounded in terms of they have the Varus for poke, they have the Vi, the Aurelion Sol, the Rel, and the Cassandre for dive, and they can, as well as Cassandre, can just live in the middle of fights forever. So he's pretty happy to do that. So it's going to be an interesting one, to say the least.
Absolutely. Herein lies the problem, right? We emphasize Baul. We're going to hear his thoughts. The babysitter with one of the hardest tasks you can be assigned of keeping a marksman alive. Here's where I run into an issue with that. Vi is unstoppable. Cassandre is unstoppable. Aurelion Sol is going to throw a star at you.
Yep.
You actually can't interact with any of those three champions going in. Like, sure, you can interrupt the Rel, right? Get on top of it, preempt it if you're in there first. The other three are throwing missiles at your backline, and you don't get to do anything. You send them a locket, and that is all you can contribute early on.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be a difficult game. Like, it does come down to we're gonna have to see how the Rumble does as well, because it will do somewhat, like the ultimate is there to kind of dissuade them and try to make it, like, punish them for having to try come in, but at the end of the day, it's going to be really hard to hold them back with just a Leona Rumble. But if they're able to find picks onto the ASOL and onto the Varus, so that they can get some of the damage out of Lightside before we group up for these team fights, then that's going to probably be the win con for Nativz here. Definitely trying to just secure kills before objectives, and making sure that those death timers are long and very annoying. Trying to take front to backs here for Nativz is going to be a hard time. So trying to find those kind of bush campy picks is going to be super important.
Bush campy picks, or where I was kind of leading with it, get there first. If you're the one on Leona setting the fight on your terms, saying, no, we go here before the Vi can fly in, before Cassandre can TP in, before the star is charged and the skies descend upon your backline, if you can start your fight off, and again, like you say, numbers advantage. Get in there first, get it done, and look to pick up the first win of the split.
And we are on to the Rift for our one and only game this evening, Nativz versus Lundqvist Lightside. But yeah, we're into this game. We've talked about it. Any of these rune choices standing out to you as we get into this?
I'm liking First Strike. More important than runes, though. Take a quick moment to check out where these carries are standing on the Lightside members. Are you noticing something?
Okay. We have a Varus mid potentially with First Strike.
So I saw this when the draft was thing. I just thought they were going to do a late swap as we flipped cameras. Fruity Fresh is going to be bot lane temporarily with Fast Legged. A swap that you, Mr. Color, how are we feeling about this?
We're seeing lane swaps more and more lately. Usually it's the bot lane going top, but to see it, it's not even that they switched players, it's that they actually switched champs. So Fruity Fresh, their ADC is actually just piloting the ASOL, which is a little bit more uncommon. Usually you would just send Sumi bot for the first couple waves or whatever, and then whenever you want to initiate that lane swap, you would just switch the players back around so they're on their normal lanes. But I guess they've decided to go for this, where they've just put the ADC on to basically the mid laner, so that when they eventually do move the mid support or the ADC support up to that mid lane, they just have the ASOL in mid anyway. I guess is their plan for that.
It also means that you're not an Aurelian Soul trying to farm until Talia. Because every time you stand still and channel that Q, you have that breath ticking, you're in danger of getting flipped in and eating a whole host of damage. So it's also trying to protect that early, trying to get towards that late, covering up that early.
Yeah, and Talia is so oppressive in lane as well, like you said, like onto that ASOL. So the Varus will have a little bit of a better time being able to clear out these waves and scales pretty well. So having that, having the extra levels on Varus isn't terrible either, because you're not having to share the XP. So I can see a lot of benefits to putting that Varus mid.
Yep, I'm liking the evolution here. I'm liking the idea that you can, yeah, you said a little bit safer. You always have the piercing arrows if you want to just kind of chip away and pick up farm where you can. You're trying to farm. You're trying to chip with his sort of her strike style that we're seeing. Also worth noting, Rumble rocking one of his own. Far easier to farm into a melee champ than a Talia. So keep in mind how much of a lead he can extend, because eventually Elijah will just become that brick wall we were talking about.
Yeah, Theoloris gonna just be able to chunk out the Cassante here as usual. This is basically what we see until the Cassante can get that level 6. Just being able to getting chunked out by the Rumble, like having full control of the lane for the time being. The gold will swing in their favor, but eventually that Cassante will start to do Cassante things, and it will not be very fun for Theoloris, but we will have to see how the Rumble actually goes into it in the end of the day.
You just gotta make sure that you do not let him hit that point carefree, as we might have a bit of a look here.
Oh, yeah.
Members grouping, painful. Now you'll have the stun with that uneven ground. No mana, no problem, walking on out, TP to champ.
Yeah, great. That was played very, very well by Painful. He spots out the jungle coming out of the bush, puts down that work ground, trying to get that stun off, completely just stops that in their tracks. They had the Leona roaming up, but there wasn't any jungle presence to be able to support that, so great for Painful to be able to get out there. Didn't even have to burn his flash.
Nope. Good nerves so far early on into the game. Oh look, but nothing to be had here is Rumble. Grass proc not enough to do it. He is ghosting for flash with the Vi also using her own, so big investment, and once again, weathering the storm, big wave stacking, no TP top.
Hybradge gonna be able to come up and cover for this though, so the wave won't be lost, which is gonna be pretty good for Nativz. Baul now trying to engage onto the bot lane of Lightside.
It played forward, stunning a fast leg, but Aftershock just absorbing the worst of it. Two tanky maidens battling back in their armor, but not really anything done. Jinx level 4, Fruity Fresh level 4, and with a grand total of Cull Amp Tome, the damage not there currently.
Yeah, the starting going Cull here for the Jinx lets her set up for that, you know, kind of first item, gets that first item, I think it's like 2 minutes quicker. With perfect CS, so trying to set up to be able to deal with them once we kind of get the junglers roaming down and around, and when we get the kind of first set of grubs, being able to, when Baul moves off, so that the space can actually sustain in the lane just that little bit better. But it does mean that your early damage, especially into a rel, is not going to be too great. Hybradge going to get spotted out on this ward in mid, so will be dissuaded for going in there, but Sumi. And what it does actually see is it gives Nativz this first move for the first Drake, and we were talking about it. Them being first on objectives going to be super important in this game. Securing the first Drake at 6 minutes means that they're set up for what, a 26-minute soul.
Yeah, a little after the fact, because obviously it takes time to kill the darn thing. But yeah, setting yourself up nice early, 6 minutes in, grabbing the first. And right now, we talked about damage not being there. But absolutely, once level 6s come through, that's where you're looking. You're a Vi. You're looking to get things going. You're a Rek'Sai. You're looking for that level 6 fight.
Theoloris. Just spotting them out, but there is plenty of members of Lightside here to be able to dissuade him from trying to get in here. but it doesn't matter. They're actually going to get on top of him.
Cheeky look, but here come the chains of corruption, dumping the equalizer and jumped on by 3. First blood going over to Sumi.
Yeah, good move from Sumi. Just knows that with the Cassante roaming down and Bartholdi ready and waiting to go on him. He just walked up that little bit too much, got punished for it. So the grubs will go over and first blood over to Sumi, which is going to definitely help him out in that mid lane.
You can see what he was going for. He's poking around. He's trying to fish for one of those Electro Harpoon steal, but Bartholdi, nice and calm, body blocks it, punches it down, and jumps on it with his members. So overstep and no TP gives Elijah some breathing room.
But now the response coming in on the spot side.
It's going to be a flash away from the Aurelion Soul. He's a long way away from Rek'Sai's threat, but maybe a loop around possible, throwing up the emote as the Void's finished. Played forwards, but again, where is the damage? Zap connecting, crash down the other way, flashing for the knock-up. They go underneath the structure. Super Mega Death Rocket and the Ignite tick, sniping him out. Baul actually having more than you bargained for.
Yeah, but that was a great rocket from space, just managing to land it onto the ASOL. I thought that was gonna be it, but I didn't realize Baul had actually landed that Ignite on the Zenith Blade. Lasted for just long enough to be able to get that kill, and that's going to be a kill, sadly over to the support, but a kill's a kill nonetheless.
Kill's a kill, you knock him down, and no TP, so the big thing is how much of the wave were you able to deny? 700 gold currently looking to buy. It's going to be what Jinx comes back with that matters more than the kill on this round.
Yeah, the big thing there is that it limits how much they were able to, hold on to that wave, because Fastleg had to leave. Refresh was obviously dead and having to walk back from base, so it gave Jinx 2 plates as well. So we're going to see the BF sword coming out, as well as some boots. So definitely going to help Jinx out in this lane as we start to see Fastlegged leaving a bit more. So we're going to have to see Baul start to move up, trying to match. So Space is going to need all the help he can get to just secure anything he can in this lane against the ASOL.
Anytime they can find a look is probably going to be a good look early on. Do not let him go late. Also, worth a call out here. Tear of the Goddess completed for the support of Nativz. This is going to be a Fimbulwinter built down the line, so super tanky Leona down the line.
Yeah, and that's what they need. We were talking about it. I think the Ona needs to be able to sustain in these fights and stay alive for as long as they can, so they can, hit all of these unstoppable members on Lightside. So being tanky definitely gonna help out quite a lot. But Elijah gotta go for the all out.
Top lane all out, forcing Flash from this Rumble. Scrap Shield to run away. Rek'Sai on route, spotted on a ward. But again, Ghost for Flash. Winning trade for the Lightside top laner, and no TP. Here we go, forwards on in, flashing, connecting with that VIQ equalizer to try and make the difference, but not enough it will be. Jungle dies for top sins. 2-1 go Lightside, bot lane, Fruity Fresh, living on a sliver. The E is enough to drag him to safety, blocking up the rocket this time, not getting the job done. Pressing them backwards, but no blood spilled.
Yeah, this is a war on 2 fronts this game.
Dive possible, they're gonna go under. Rumble is down, and Ignite not gonna cut it. He's dove once more. Here comes Sumi, flashing, connecting the QE, locked down for an Age, and flipped in. No chance of moving. Unbind your mouse, bud. Sumi hits the gray screen for 27 seconds.
Staying for the play, Bartholdi's here to actually move down and try to secure something back, but great play from Nativz. They get caught on that top side. They lose 2 kills to it, and then they instantly respawn on that bot side. They get Fruity Fresh down to a sliver of HP. It could have been a kill that went their way, but then the overextension of Sumi trying to roam down to try catch them and try to flank them, just going to get labs and just get locked down by the Talia Leona, and it's going to give Nativz all they needed to get back into this game.
Couple of oversteps are answered in both kinds. Dragon started up here for Lightside, but Nativz not willing to give it up for free.
Yeah, big contest coming out from here. They have 3 members over here, but they just can't get into the pit. but they are going to look for the fight.
Wall.
Weaver's Wall's only
The
gonna block them
opposite
out.
way, two-man flip, flashing away from the Leona ultimate. They jump onto the front line. Hybradge is able to set that up for Painful, who grabs a kill. Drake for jungle, the trade will be.
Yeah, great play from Painful there. The Weaver's Wall not going, I don't think it was really going the way he wanted it to go, but manages to catch them with the flick back onto 2, and the stun and the rocket coming in from the Jinx gonna finish that one off. So another kill going over to one of the going over to the mid laner of Nativz, and that's definitely going to help with that deficit, and it also gives them prio to move up for these grubs, stop that 4 grub buff, and they're going to be on equal footing when they're going for these towers going forward.
Just about as much dot as the other one, trying to smite it down. 8 HP grabbed up by this Rek'Sai. Now the fight begins as the Fury forced away with that piercing arrow. Flash on Hybradge, burned.
Yeah, great play from Nativz. Gets the 3 grubs. It was a close one. Bartoli almost getting that 4th grub. That would have been a big issue for Nativz as we get later into this game, but so making sure to keep those 3 grubs means that it's going to take them a little bit longer to take towers. Even damage for both sides, and getting out without dying for Hybradge is always a nice touch.
It's better than the alternative here. So taking quite a bit to separate them. Hex Flash over the wall. Members begin to gather via ultimate expended barrier. Eaton not able to connect with that Leon ultimate. It is Baul under fire now with that W and Aftershock. The resists are massive. Death by 1,000 paper cuts. It will have to be. Ignite dropped. Sumi grabs it. Rumble on the run. Q3 and Tofo's strikes are good. And Elijah making the Cassante memes reality with a solo top.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. Baul looking like he was trying to get the Hex Flash Zenith Blade on to Sumi, but just couldn't land it. And Bartholdi hovered around mid, able to come in instantly and counter it. Goes on to Space, but Space luckily able to just walk away without having to burn his flash, just uses his barrier. Baul doing a great job of creating space for Space, no pun intended, with his ultimate to make sure that he can just walk out of it. Sadly gonna lose his life for it, but at least his ADC stays alive.
I've been trying so hard not to fall into that. You know, do they have the space to free fire in that first game? Like, the low-hanging fruit it's not worth it. Absolutely not worth it.
Yeah, it's always the issue with the usernames that are common League of Legends terms. But Herald's gonna pop 14 at that 14-minute mark. Bartholdi's gonna be straight onto that, trying to make sure that they get as much priority on the map as possible. They haven't been able to make much progress in mid from either side, so that Herald's gonna be great to potentially crack open one of those towers.
Cheeky little play. Cassante just stepping in front of the zap to deny a cannon minion. Minus 70 gold, buddy. Unlucky.
Now the roams coming in from the rest of Lightside, just making sure they can secure the Herald. It should be going over for free. Their Jinx Rocket just slightly too late. Could have been a nice steal for them.
Hybridge. Wards might be poking around here. The VIQ charging. 900 HP on the crab. The battle will begin. Baul, Weaver's Wall might pinch 2 here. Vi over the wall. Equalizer laid out and catches 1. Painful. Picking up another. Chompers delaying the onset of top, and Elijah TP's in to no avail.
Yeah, it's great. That was a great play from them. They were fishing for something, and it managed to work out in their favor. The Weaver's Wall sadly doesn't catch the second member, but still getting away with 1 is very nice, and you get the TP advantage out of Elijah. So now Theoloris and Elijah are back on equal footing. They do need to match each other, and Elijah is going to be a little bit less mobile for the time being.
Ace forced to walk the long way around with the 3 members marching up mid. Just a little bit of chip damage onto the structure. And empowered ult available. 36 seconds on the Drake. Fruity Fresh has their big trigger pull that they've been building to, that we've been alluding to over the course of the game.
And now just base is coming out, gonna be resetting, trying to get those items in. Gonna have to see what we're gonna get. We're actually gonna get a base TP coming out. I think it's believed that is Fruity Fresh coming off of the base. Has his Leandries as his first item.
First item completed. 2 seconds till blast off. Here comes the mid crash on in as Vi launches in. Ultimate committed onto both carries, finds the pop-up, but where's the follow? Magnet Storm does not find a way. Fast-legged is locked up. Which tank lasts longer? Over the wall goes Baul. Chased down by Aurelion Soul. Flip into the top side of your map. 4v4. Support for support. Free firing over the wall. Aurelion Soul is breathing down their necks. Health bar slivers, but not able to get more than that for now.
Yeah, the big thing there is that Fruity Fresh was able to just solo out Baul, spotted him off to the side, was able to stay out of that turret range and just be able to mow him down with the Dragon's Breath. Meaning that they could try to go for something potentially, because as we said, this Leona is going to be big in trying to stop them getting on top. So if they were going to go for a tower dive, that Leona needed to be dead first. So Lightside doing a great job of catching the targets they need to be able to actually engage onto those carries.
Yep, it was both supports laying down their lives, right? Diving in, trying to draw aggro from members, but still had E up, Fruity Fresh mopping up, and now the dance of mid lane waves, ping pong back and forth for another while. We have 4 minutes till the next strike, 2 till the Baron.
Yeah, that Herald, of course, because of the little amount of damage that was dealt to both mid lane towers, that mid tower for Nativz still stands, which means the map priority that they were hoping to gain from it didn't actually come in. It didn't actually end up doing anything because of the amount of members that ended up being mid for Nativz. They were able to just mow down the wave and the Herald as it came in, so the tower will stand for the time being.
Yo. Battle lines so evidently drawn. You can see the vision lines all along this river. They want to group, they want to scrap it out, and something that we have not been able to touch on with all of the scrapping and posturing. You talked about Elijah becoming a brick wall. I fear we are reaching that point here.
He definitely is. He with the Canic Rukrun first item that helped him against him. As we see Chains of Corruption coming in, Hybradge just blown up.
Not a chance to even put up a fight. Leona lasted a little bit longer, but it's a matter of time before she too drops. Meanwhile, top lane as well on the run. All out goes Cassante, flash away underneath the structure. Ghost popped, but calling it off. 2 men down, stacking up that Tofo strikes. Under he goes, and Ignite doesn't do it again. At another solo, he's a brick wall, and this brick wall is dropping on top lane's head.
Yep, Cassante doing Cassante things, but just to go back to that previous play, great choice from Sumi. They just noticed that, like, and this has kind of been something that's been evident throughout this game so far, is that Nativz, because they start to lose their vision line just that little bit, they start to stick their nose in places they should not be. And Sumi just going straight for the punish with the Chain of Corruption, just like, if you're gonna step up, I'm going to try to ult you, and punishing out Space and Painful, and it's just, sorry, it was onto a Hybradge, but it was just a great call from Lightside to just turn and just blow up those two players.
Absolutely nothing given for free. If they do not believe that you should be allowed to be somewhere, they will fight you for it. They've proved that so far, pulling the trigger a couple times, and top lane in isolation is a complete disaster. You pick Ignite, you pick a matchup, and down 2k, there's not very many ways back into this for the Rumble. I feel it will just be Cassante's to run for a very, very long time.
Yeah, and that's the difference in with that Canic Rukrun, right? Is because if you're gonna play AP top lane to Cassante will happily just take a Canic Rukrun, and once that item is finished, if you haven't got that advantage in the early game, Cassante can just run over you because you can't do a whole lot to him. That AP shield still super strong even after I think it was adjusted a little bit, but now they see it. The Natives are trying to find an opening onto a single member, and this is what we were talking about when we were in the draft. They need to try to find these kind of quick picks before they can move towards these objectives, and Lightside are doing a great job of just identifying that is what Natives need to do, and are just making sure that they're kind of moving in their groups, you know, 2s and 3s. In this case, it's a four man walking through the bot side jungle of Natives, but Natives getting caught out at times, and Lightside are just doing a great job of being able to collapse on top of them.
Yeah, having a buddy is great. Having your entire team hold hands and walk into the enemy jungle when you know that you're up is even more foolproof, right? There's nothing you can really do about it. You gotta give it up. Vi slippery enough to evade any sort of potential engages. So, as you said, picks. Where are you looking to do that?
Yeah, as Baron's coming up and Lightside are going to start setting up for this. We can see Theoloris and Baul just trying to dissuade them from walking up here. They do have Elijah up towards that top side as well. He has his TP available, so when fight breaks out here, Nativz need to be very careful. They're all sitting around kind of waiting for someone to step out of line, but Lightside, as we've seen so far in this game, have been so good at making sure they don't walk up too far. You know, we've seen Baul trying to go for those Hex Flash Zenith Blades, and they haven't really been getting the effectiveness that they would hope, and it's actually ended up leading them to be caught at times. But now,
is it fightable though? Here comes the Magnus Storm, and Nativz is blown to smithereens. The skies descend upon their head, 3 dead in an instant. They're looking to make it 4 with that breath of light. Fruity Fresh gets it done. Baul wondering where it went wrong. I don't even get the sentence off, saying, I don't know how you can fight your way into this. You don't even have 2 items on mid, and it's 4-0 before you can get enough.
What a disgusting combo coming out from Fast Legged and Fruity Fresh. This, the Magnet Storm into the what's Asol's ult called again from the skies?
Skies Descend's the empowered version.
Yeah, the Skies Descend. I can't remember what the not empowered version is. But yeah, absolutely disgusting combo, especially with Elijah on top of it. Jinx Rocket gonna be a bit too late, gonna stop the backs of 2 members, but of course with the empowered recall, not gonna matter. But that is going to be a lot of gold going over to the side of Lightside. I was going to touch on it before we got into that fight that Nativz actually were only like 1.5k down in gold, and now that gold lead has skyrocketed to 5k. Space caught out by Fruity Fresh. Gonna get blown up.
Completely ballooned. This marksman is down. Space is hitting the gray screen. Hybradge now trying to back on out, but Aurelion Sol, he fears nothing. He is unchecked. He is dicing forwards. 2 men fall again. 15-5. Lightside have complete control.
Yeah, this is a rough game for Nativz to try to come back into now, especially with that Asol and the Cassante just on form. Elijah came to win this game, and they're looking to end it here.
Painful losing Seraphs. Painful loses his life. Fruity Fresh grabbing that one up underneath. The base is going to be cracked by these creeps, given a couple more moments. Rocket slipped away from Fruity Fresh, throwing up the thummies and hitting the base.
Third Drake gonna go over to Lightside as well. Theoloris finally gonna crack that top side tower, gonna get the bounty as well, but it's gonna only reduce his difference in top lane by 300 gold, which instantly jumped back up to 3k. I don't know what Elijah just did, but that top tower went down. Oh, they took another tower, did they? That must have been what it was. Yeah. So
yeah, bot T2 is cracked, Elijah.
Yeah. So not gonna make too much of a difference. Now that gold lead ballooning to 7k. In the last 5 minutes, it's gone from 1.5 to 7,000 gold in the difference. They're using it effectively. They are just slapping Nativz with their wallets for the time being. The Baron power play is currently sitting at 3,500 gold increase. Hybradge in a part of the river that he does not own, got to be chased away very swiftly.
Yeah, this land shark is currently gonna be corralled on out. Should be able to make it back with the tunnel if needs be. So lives to fight another day, but endangered species to be sure.
And they're looking like they're trying to get this last tier 2 out of it. They're gonna send Elijah to push in that mid wave as well. War on 2 fronts, but Hybradge is gonna have to give this one up. They cannot fight into wave 4. This death ball coming out from Lightside.
They just continue this slow onslaught. They have the Baron, they have the creeps. Jinx is still working on 3rd item before they truly come online. Nice flip onto Elijah, amounts to a grand total of, count it, Heltic, 0 damage out of the shield and the E. Cassante going nowhere.
It's almost like Kane Kruger was an item that wasn't considered for top laners, but we're gonna actually see the Weaver's Wall come in. Corrals 3.
3-man pinch. Can they get the equalizer over the top? E and flash for some mobility, but here comes the re-engage. Lightside going underneath the structures. Bartholdi down. Do they fight them off on the steps of their base? They get the rebuff. Painful looking for a flip, not finding it. Sent hacking for Nell. Nativz not going down without a fight.
Yeah, bit over-eager for Bartholdi. Gonna ult in onto space, but under the tower and surrounded by the entire Nativz team, with no one on his team being able to back him up because of the Weaver's Wall. So, bit unfortunate for Bartholdi there. Gonna get taken down, but some signs of life coming out from Nativz. We're just gonna have to see whether they can actually turn this into anything else. And that third item gonna be finished up for that Jinx now. So officially online back into this one. The only member of Nativz currently with a gold lead in their lane, up 59 CS. That will obviously change as Fruity Fresh gonna be taking out this wind wave, but interesting to see where we're gonna Nativz, if they can stall and potentially even get this next Drake, have the potential to be able to try come back into this. But they need some stuff. They need some power in their back pocket, and with the Cassandra and the Asol just coming over the top, it's gonna be very difficult. Especially even the Varus, if we look at it, is sitting on those 3 items, almost finishing his 4th item, 2.5k gold off over Painful. Gonna be a hard one, especially you have the Asol on top of you, you have the Cassandra on top of you, you have the Rel on top of you, the Varus hitting you from a mile away. So. Like we said, this is all going to come down to whether Nativz can find their picks, and if Bartholdi gets over eager like he did the last time, and the continued CC coming out from Lightside isn't able to follow up because blocked by a Weaver's Wall or something like that, Nativz can find a favorable fight.
I fear we have left pick territory and entered throw territory. It's got to be a misstep. Even a good play here, I don't think quite gets the job done, considering the gold lead, considering the soul stack, considering the vision line. It's got to take an error that they're going to try and punish to try and find, and it's got to be a carry. I don't think Vi cuts it. I don't think Top cuts it. I don't think the Warmog's Rel is particularly juicy at current level.
Baul gonna get caught out in the jungle here. We were
fire.
A lot of damage.
Throwing out. However, W and Aftershock, they're going to go onto the jungle, and this time the Magnastorm is in. Throwing out the ults once more. Unchecked are the carries. Flipped out of E. It is Aurelion Sol who's going to be stuffed away, burned down, and finished off. Theoloris with his dying breath takes one with him. 3 for 3. Sol going the other way, but a moment of clarity here.
Yeah, Theoloris did a lot in that fight, as well as Painful, to be able to try and keep everyone alive. Actually managing to take out the 3 members on Lightside, but the biggest issue here is that Sol is about to go over to Lightside, and if they get this Mountain Soul, this game is going to be a lot harder for Nativz to try to come back into. So they need to try contest this. And it's down to 800 gold. They actually do manage to take it away, buying themselves another 5 minutes.
Grabbed up with a tossed rock. Painful with that empowered Q, getting a nice 5-minute lease on life.
Yeah, very. It's a bit weird from Lightside. I think they were trying to pull the Drake out, but because it was aggroed onto Painful, it didn't move potentially. Because it looked like they were trying. They didn't want it in the back of the pit anymore, and they stopped hitting it because they wanted to try to get that snipe and try to get it low and finish it off themselves. But as they were walking up the river, it just seemed like the dragon didn't want to walk with them, which gave it to Painful. So. They will take that every day of the week.
Absolutely. Finishing that one off. Again, 5 minutes bought, but how much better does it get? Quick head count on items. There are 3 completed for both carries. Some more components. Baron is going to be started up, though, and Lightside do not want to give them a moment to breathe.
Yeah, the biggest thing here is that Theoloris and Painful are actually chunked out before this fight even starts.
And that's Rel ultimate burnt. Jungle down already. Equalizer does not find many. Untouched is this Aurelion Soul. Here comes Bartoli. Backpedaling into 2 carries. Going Golden Flame Spitter ticking. Baul under fire. Lives for a moment, but Elijah gets it done. 1-for-1 jungle for support traded. Here comes the piercing arrow. Seraph's burnt. Painful is going to be kiting into enemy structure. The tower shot finds him. The second is enough to do it. Theoloris in space. Do they have an exit strategy? TP channeled. Lot of move speed out of that scrap shield, but nowhere left to run. He is out of road. He is out of time. Ace for Lightside.
Yeah, it was a fight that Nativz had to take, but Lightside knew exactly what they needed to do. Just turn the moment they show up, and like you said, the Rumble just landing a little bit off to the side, not catching the amount of members they would have liked. Fastleg had actually lived out of that fight on like a sliver of HP, which has been the story of this game for Nativz. Just so many members of Lightside on low HP bars, but not able to finish them off. Now they're going to go and take this Baron. 3k left on it. No one's going to be able to respond. And Lightside again, got to try to push to end this game.
Currently, there is a single bright spot for Nativz. Space has a gold lead.
Yes.
There ends the bright spots for Nativz.
Honestly, the biggest thing is that Space just got his 4-item power spike. So I think he might be on full crit now, or 95% if I've done my math correctly. I can't remember how much Runans gives off at the top of my head. I think it's 15. So I think he's on 95% crit, which he wasn't doing. Even after he got excited, we could see the little amount of damage he was able to output onto the Cassante. But now with 4 items, hopefully he should start to shred these tanks with the LDR. And now Weaver's Wall coming in.
Wall. Good pinch here, and the equalizer's great. Leona ult to lock him in it. Tick down to 2/3. Hybradge will pay for it. Bartoli next on the chopping block. Jungle for jungle. A much better fight. Nativz now. Here comes the flank though. Cassante inbound. Fight your way out or live to regret it. Space is gonna backpedal. Top cut down. Chompers ignored. Baul is gonna be going on a goose chase here. Space finished off by the Cassante. And that's going to be all she wrote. Aced once more, 34 minutes. Lightside's going to look to close out.
Space going to take one for the road, going to take out Fastleg, and with the, using those 4 items to be able to kill at least one member of Lightside. But that is going to be it for our game this evening. Nativz struggling a little bit against Lightside.
And now we're standing here on the dark side. Not really good for us after losing 3 out of 3 games. But,
yeah,
we can always improve next time. I still have the confidence. What do you guys feel like they lacked today to drive this loss?
I would say probably a lot of it has to do with draft. I do think that Nativz were playing a little bit over eager to try to find picks at some points in the game, and we're getting caught. It was Lightside were very good at playing responsively. So they were identifying where Nativz were at all times, and if someone was out of position or walked up too far, they would just turn and go for them and make that decision and commit to it. And because they had gotten that little bit of an advantage early on in the game, when they did turn, because it was always just like one member of Nativz on their own standing somewhere that they shouldn't have been and didn't have access to. When Lightside would turn, there was no response play for Nativz. We seen early in the game, they were able to do the cross map where if topside died, they were able to get something back on bot side, which was fine until the game kind of started to move out of the laning phase. And once everybody was starting to move together, Lightside were moving as this death ball, catching off members one by one. And Nativz were playing a little bit disjointed and were just trying to survive and weren't able to find or strategize and move to do anything to counter Lightside.
Yeah, that's fair. Would you agree with him, Sandbag?
Yeah, I definitely say, I guess the best way to describe it would be take 2 moments. It is when Hybradge makes a slight overstep, what happens up in that topside jungle, 3 members immediately descend upon the Rek'Sai and cut it to pieces. What happens when the Vi makes a slight overstep in the bot side jungle? Cues to safety. It was so much harder to really pin down a member, whereas when you have the extra members, Rumble looks in for a grub, jumped on by 3 members. You just don't have a moment to really some cheeky plays, maybe ill-advised, but just no quarter given.
In terms of the draft, what would have been like a better response from Nativz side to Lightside draft?
Probably something like an Ornn. There was a lot like Jinx and Talia need peel. Something to keep them try to keep them off them as much as I can. We know that Cassante, the Asol, and the Vi are going to get on top of are going to try to get on top of your backline. You need someone that is able to just disrupt and try to stop it as much as you can. And something like the Call of the Forge God could have been really good to just try to hold them back, because as much as the Rumble is a nice little line of fire that deals really good burn damage, a lot of people will just walk through it because it doesn't affect your movement in any way. And if I can keep on top of you and just keep hitting you, and keep you stunned or keep you blocked for my Varus and my Asol to just be able to kill you, that's a lot more valuable than when trying to walk and try to come into a team as 5 and getting knocked up by like a Call of the Forge God. That is why we see so many top laners get put on Ornn duty in these types of comps, is because you need someone to be able to disengage, and Ornn's ult is just perfect for it.
And Sandbag, what do you think that they could do better to have a different result for tomorrow's game against Lion's Creed?
I mean, it's tough to remove the kind of end of the game from your, well, this game didn't even look close, right? It was two fights over. But it was, like Heltic said, cross maps. They had answers, but it felt like it got away from a little bit. Again, that top lane pick of blinding the Rumble had nowhere near the result that you're looking to cash out for that, right? You're looking to push, you're looking to move, you're looking to get sort of priority. Even if you don't kill him, you're looking to shove him out and get grubs. Grubs ended up being a split. Rumble ended up getting killed underneath his own structure because he didn't have TP. So it did feel like it was back foot from very early. So hard to say how the game looks different unless you are able to get to a more level state.
All right, that is fair. So I guess we're gonna have to wait until tomorrow and see. And Sandbag, well, you've both talked a lot about how Xante is OP, for the lack of a better word right now. Like it's too much. So let's say Xante gets picked tomorrow again, Ornn's banned. What options do we have to be able to fight this?
It depends on how spicy you're willing to get. I will say that. In a lot of cases, the Rumble is able to kind of do that job, just some execution differences, right? Where you're looking to more push as opposed to fight. Like, obviously, you're trying to poke him out. We saw early on, right? You're walking past the wave, tag a couple of E's, force him off the wave. Deny XP, deny gold. You can get real spicy and start dropping Garens, start dropping Cho'Gaths and things where he goes all out. You're basically in Threshold to just kill him. I don't expect to see us slamming those here in the NLC, but in terms of things that you could play, or as you said, you're looking to handshake, you're looking to go a bit more Ornn, you're looking to go a bit more, I don't want to say Sion because I hate that champion.
Me too.
And I don't think he's even particularly, but that sort of like handshake and play for squad.
All right, Heltic, do you think Sion would be a good pick here? Just to, just wondering.
Like,
no.
Sion, I'm so sick of Sion.
I hate Sion.
Sion gives way to a lot of the cheesy, annoying strats that I'm one of as a bronze level League of Legends player, I'm very stuck in my ways of I like lanes the way they're supposed to be. I don't like Sion following the enemy jungler around and then TPing back top. So yeah. Not to mention the fact that he can just, base and then just ult back to lane in less than 10 seconds. But
Yeah.
My
We're
honest
hashtag we hate Zion.
I hate Scion. My honest answer though, before we got lost in the Scion sauce, my clean and honest answer is I think Camille does the job great. You can cut through resists, you can play some of that priority, and it also, instead of just trying to straight burn Cassante,
Hello.
you can skip and go to the back line with that ultimatum.
I think I agree. And with that being said, I think it's time for us to interview one of our team players. We have Baul today, our support. How are you doing after this game, Baul?
To be completely honest, feeling pretty bad. Considering when we went in before the game, like before draft even, we had a clear plan on how we wanted to draft, how we wanted to play, and I think our early game was pretty good. We executed it well and got a pretty good lead on bot, in the sense that we denied them a lot of gold and experience and also got some kills in the first dragon. But then it just came down to the team fights later where we couldn't coordinate and execute it as a team.
What do you feel like you need to fix immediately for tomorrow, both in the bot lane but also in the general team, for for you to have a win against Lions Creed tomorrow evening?
We're not playing against Lions Creed tomorrow, but
Sorry.
I think that schedule wasn't updated. It's the
it's Blue Whites.
Yeah, Blue Whites who replaced Lions Creed.
Okay, sorry, that is
Yes.
my bad. So yeah, but what can be done by tomorrow so we can guarantee that win?
Yeah, so like I think we have shown some good like plays in both against the Nord and today, like what we can do with an early game lead. The problem is that we just take our foot off the gas pedal and we start rolling forward instead of like going full speed. We stop being proactive, we stop looking for plays, and we scatter across the map instead of trying to group and execute more as a team, find the numbers advantage to take control and to also win the team fights, and in the sense get objectives, as in like opening up the map by getting turrets and stacking dragons or whatever.
That sounds like a plan to me. And if you have to give a tip to all the supports out there, what would you tell them now?
Stop playing Nautilus. Play more fun champs. I think support is such a unique role in the sense that you have so much freedom. Like you can pick basically any champion. If you're confident on the champion and if you put a lot of practice in it, you can make it work. But the core part is that you have to understand how to play the basic champions like the engage and the enchanter role, right? Then you can start looking for more spicy picks where you can play like Rumble, Camille, Ashe, stuff like that, which can provide more damage, but it's more risky. And just make sure that you reset a lot and reset on more correct timers, so you always have vision and you're always trying to either match the enemy support by roaming, but then you have to make sure your ADC is fine. Otherwise, just go with your ADC if you think your ADC can carry the game, and just try to excel a lead from bot lane.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that. I'll just like take notes here for my next game. Heltic, do you have any questions for our support?
Yeah. How were you? What was your reactions to the ASOL walking into the lane at the start of the game? Because we were caught off guard, so I can only imagine yous were too.
Actually, we were kind of prepared for it. If you could see our bans, we banned both Hui and Ziggs, and they were both mainly for bot lane. Since we scouted a bit, we knew that their bot laner plays a lot of the mage picks. Since we saw the Varus, we had like an inkling, okay, it might go top. I mean, they blocked Cassandra, so we were like, okay, it's not going top. So it's most likely bot, but it's a bit strange. But as soon as they looked ASOL, we knew it was bot. And I thought Leona looks really good here. And it was good in the early stage of the game. And then we fell apart a bit. I think he didn't really get to do much in lane. He had to give a lot of prio, give up creeps, give up experience. But then later in teamfights, ASOL just melts everyone. Like I can't really escape as Leona against ASOL, so I could understand the problematic situation that I put myself in with my pick as well.
Oh, not great. Sandbag, would you like to have a wrap-up question before we go?
I mean, I was kind of hoping to end on a bit of a happier note, and you talked about Rumble, you talked about Camille. I want to know your thoughts on the Silas. I know that's been cropping up, the Silas support. Have you played it? Have you seen it? Do you believe in it?
I have played probably 100, 110 different champions in support. I used to climb a lot with Viego and Vi last year. LeBlanc I played, Camille, Rumble of course, but Silas I've even scrimmed with it in previous teams. It's my go-to pick against Alistar, because I think Alistar ult is pretty valuable, but also Alistar can't really do much in the early stage of the game. And I think all these spicy picks, you need a strong ADC, like you need like a Kalista that can bail you out with her ulti, or something that can set you up like an Ashe with a sloth and early pressure, or Draven, which is just general damage to help you kill the enemy team. So we might see some spicy picks, maybe not tomorrow, maybe next week, but that's something we have been looking at for sure.
Wait,
That's amazing. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Baul, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And before we wrap this up, I just wanted to remind everyone about our comments and talk about a few important things. So first, we have here Ireland Esports Collegiate Series under comment IECS. IECS is powered by Nativz and provides esports competitions for students in Ireland. We also have our sponsors, Oxen, which is our official kit partner. So you can get items of Nativz merch, and it's available on their website under comment Oxen. And we also have Allotment, our official purpose partner, acting to preserve the coral reefs of Coldtide Highland and support the local communities under comment Allotment. Guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight, and I'll see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. CET for another game. Bye.